Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're going to talk about this palette from Tarte. It's the Don't Quit Your Daydream palette, and it is one of their double duty beauty palettes. So typically for my palette review videos, I will do product info, then I'll do finger and brush swatches, and at the very end, I'll show you how I got the eye look using this palette. I did use every single shade in this palette on my face and eyes today, so if you want to see how I got this look with this palette, then just stick around to the very end of the video. First, let's start with a little product info. This palette was previously available at Ulta. It is not on Ulta's website anymore, but it is currently available on Tarte's website. It was originally $29. Right now it's on sale for $19, which makes me think that they are kind of phasing out this palette. And I'll just cut to the chase. Don't miss this one. The outer packaging looks like this. It looks just like the front of the palette. It's pink with gold lettering. And the palette does come with this little card that shows you how to get an eye look, which is okay for me. I'd rather just experiment with the shades. I don't find this palette to be overwhelming or difficult to work with at all, but it is nice when they include a little insert, I think. This palette is a heavy duty cardboard, and it does have a very shiny reflective finish, as you can see. There is a magnetic closure for the palette, and inside you'll find a nice big mirror, and like all the other palettes this size, there is a face highlighter which can also be used as an eyeshadow, and then 7 eyeshadow shades. In this palette there are 2 mattes. This shade called Love, which is a beautiful kind of medium brown transition shade, and then this deep, more cool toned brown called Work. And the shade Rock On actually really feels like a matte to me, but it does seem more like a satin finish. It did perform like a matte for me when I used it today. And then all 3 shades down the center here, plus this one called Strive, are all shimmers. And like Tarte's other eyeshadows recently, this does have a very sweet, not too overpowering, but definitely sweet scent. I'm gonna move on to the swatches now. I am gonna do both finger and brush swatches of each shade. For my brush swatches, I'm gonna use my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean off in between each swatch with my Mona color switch. I'm gonna be swatching on my bare skin on the back of my hand. I'm not gonna apply any primer, no foundation, nothing like that. Just purely the eyeshadows right on the back of my hand. I'm gonna do these 4 at a time. I'm gonna do the top row and the face highlighter called Shine On first, and then for my second round of swatches, I'll do rows 2 and 3 here of the eyeshadows. Here's the first round of swatches. Can we look at this? Are you serious? This kind of shade almost never shows up on me, and look how pigmented that is. Look at that brush swatch. Are you kidding me? Come on, Tarte. This is the shade Rock On, and this is the one that's kind of satiny, but I think, as you can see, once it's applied with a brush, it looks very matte to me. This kind of lighter beige shimmer is called Visionary. This beautiful transition tone is called Love. And lastly, we have the face highlight called Shine On, and it is quite gold, but I am wearing it on my face today and I don't think it looks too dark for me. I think this is the kind of thing that could suit light or medium skin tones. Here is the last set of swatches for this palette, and I just want to point out that the brush swatches look almost exactly like the finger swatches. Look at these mattes. Look how these mattes are performing. It's insane. This first shade is a really beautiful yellowy gold called Boss Lady. Next we have more of a rose gold, almost duochrome shade called Strive. This rusty kind of reddish brown is called Runway. And lastly, this kind of cool toned, kind of neutral dark brown is called Work. I'm sure at this point it's pretty obvious. I really am a fan of this palette. I like the shades, I love the pigmentation, the formula is absolutely beautiful, so smooth, so easy to work with. I didn't experience any patchiness either in swatches or when I was applying it to my eyes. I think this is another must-have from Tarte. And I do want to talk about this palette in comparison to some of the other double duty beauty face palettes that have been out recently. First, let's talk about this one. This is the Maneater palette. It is no longer around, and I think all of these little tiny palettes like this are all limited edition. I love this palette. If you've been around on my channel for any amount of time, you know that I have an obsession for this palette. I think that this palette is basically perfect, and this does remain my favorite of these little double duty beauty palettes. I did recently pick up this one. It's the Leave Your Mark palette, and it does look pretty similar at first glance to the Don't Quit Your Daydream palette. They do have a very kind of similar color story. However, I do prefer the Don't Quit Your Daydream palette over this Leave Your Mark palette for a few reasons, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, my main complaint with this Leave Your Mark palette is that there's only one matte shade. The shade called Speak Up is the only matte in the palette. The rest are all very shimmery, very metallic, and I do feel that a lot of these shades are too similar. Once they're swatched, once they're applied to the eye, I feel like Good Vibes, Role Model, and Courage, and even the face highlighter shade called Love, I feel like those all looked very, very similar on me. So I don't feel like I was getting the best value for this palette because those shades kind of were very interchangeable. I think the Don't Quit Your Daydream palette does have a little bit more range. It stays very wearable. There's nothing crazy happening here. If you love warm tones, you'll love this because it does have that pop of rusty red in the shade Runway. I am definitely a fan of this palette. I know I'm going to keep grabbing for it just like I kept grabbing for my Maneater palette. So if you missed out on the Maneater, or also if you are like me and you loved the Maneater, I highly, highly recommend grabbing this Don't Quit Your Daydream palette while it's still around. It is on sale right now, so there's no better time to go for it. I think this is a real winner from Tarte. I think they've really been killing it lately with these. I did pick up the other kind of smokier palette called the Sex Kitten palette as well when I purchased this one. So if you're interested on seeing a video like this with a kind of swatch and review and a quick eye look, please leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to make that happen for you. But I had to tell you about this one before it's gone for good. Go and snatch it up now. You will not regret it. Now I'm gonna jump into my eye look using this Don't Quit Your Daydream palette. So that wraps up today's video. Definitely let me know if you're interested in seeing something similar with this Sex Kitten palette. I know this is a little bit out of my comfort zone with all these cool tones and kind of dark smoky shades, so I think that would be really fun. If you want to see that, leave a comment and let me know. As always, thank you so much for hanging out here with me and watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Yes, I'm watching Project Runway in the background. Oh, it's so fucking pretty. So good. Damn, it's good. What? First, let's start. What? Go. Medium, warm, neutral. What does that even mean? That's so weird. So weird. I don't know what you're doing over there, Tarte, but I like it. That you. Sometimes when I hold a stack of palettes like this, I imagine like, you know how people have like money and they're like, I just imagine like palettes. Can get control of yourself, seriously. That was borderline inappropriate. As usual. Thank you.